Oh, there we go. Hello, YouTube, etc., etc., or et al. Let me. Okay, Instagram. Sorry, still live. There we go. Instagram. Keeping an eye on the dog. All right, Instagram doing its thing. Good. Substack. All righty. Grab the Substackers. They're live. I just have to find them. There's one at least. Hello, Substacker. Substacker, whoever you are, hiding there on me. All right, Terry, hey. All right, good. We'll get TikTok and we're good. I already had TikTok set up. I was being good today. See, my lighting's being good today because it's not sunny out. Whenever it's sunny out, it blows me out, and then I've got to have too strong of my overhead lights too strong, and there we go. Woo-woo! Excellent. All right, that's not bad. This worked out well today, I think. Hello, TikTok, YouTube, Discord, Substack, everybody. Hello, all. Howdy, Jason. I almost on time. Well, the on time thing is tricky because I first have to launch on Discord. Then I've got to launch on YouTube, Substack, etc. Then I've got to launch on TikTok. Each one takes a little bit of work to do. It's not like, and I have to launch Instagram manually, and Substack launches automatically after I set up, but then I've got to go find it. So it's not fun. It's not. So that's why I will, like today I started on time for Discord, but it took me 3 more minutes to get everybody else rolling. So it's not fun. So anyway, see, you have no idea what goes on behind all the work I do behind the scenes for you people. You have no idea. Thank you, Auntie. Good to see you. Anyway, hey, BJ. All right, guys. So welcome, everybody. John Aravosis here. Happy Friday. I was going to say to those who celebrate, that would be all of us, I'm hoping. Anyway, welcome, everybody. I've got one of my Amazon shirts on. This is one of the other fun Amazon. Actually, I'm wearing my glasses. One of my other fun Amazon shirts. I was like, and I literally typed in unicorn, rainbow, dinosaur, and it did. Or rainbow. Maybe I typed in rainbow dinosaur. Maybe that's what it was. I think it was rainbow dinosaur, and they actually pulled up a T-shirt with a rainbow and a dinosaur. I was like, and it had a unicorn, and I went, oh my God, it's got a unicorn too. We are so set. Here, I'll put that in so I can see you can see my unicorn. There we go. Anyway, it's fun. I thought it was fun. So anyway, all right, guys. So welcome, everybody. Let's get rolling here. John Aravosis. We talk about the latest news. A lot of Iran news, although today there's a lot of other news. We had a lot of other news. So Iran, we're going to talk about, but Iran will actually not be our #1 topic, but it is part of the show. Kind of going to do the usual summary of the news, but we're going to hit a lot of different topics today. So welcome, everybody. Keep in mind that tomorrow morning, as I always remind you, is our coffee talk, the hangout I do for the monthly subscribers. So that would be the superfans on TikTok, the members on YouTube, anybody on Substack or Discord who is a monthly donor. Join me tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, on these apps. I will be on all of these for the coffee talk, or coffee talk, as we call it on TikTok. It shouldn't be any quieter on YouTube, but you know what? Who the hell knows? YouTube, I can't tell, or maybe it's StreamYard. I can't tell anymore why. It should be the same volume. I haven't changed anything, but you never know. So welcome, guys. As always, please do kick in with the gifts. I very much appreciate it. TikTok, YouTube, everywhere else. Your gifts support my work, so thank you. All right, let's get rolling, guys. Virginia redistricting. So unfortunately, one of the biggest stories, if not the biggest story today, is that the Supreme Court of Virginia, thank you, Gene, for the dino, Supreme Court of Virginia struck down the Virginia redistricting plan that Democrats had passed in order to retaliate for Donald Trump's efforts to steal the fall elections by demanding that Republican states basically redistrict. It's very complicated if you don't know what it is, but in essence, the United States Senate, we have 2 bodies of Congress, okay? 2 houses. The United States Senate is very easy. It's by state. We have 50 states. Each state gets 2 seats. That's it. Very simple. House of Representatives, way more complicated. In the House of Representatives, there's 435 members. There's always 435 members as of the last 100 years or so. And based on the population changes every 10 years, because every 10 years we do a census and some states have gotten more population, some have gotten less. we redistribute those 435 members of the House of Representatives based on how the population has changed. So it changes. Well, when it changes, let's say, for example, California, let's say Illinois even. Let's say Illinois' population goes down. Let's say, I don't know, Illinois now maybe has 18 or 20. I always ask you guys and I always forget. 20 members of Congress in the House of Representatives. Let's say it had 20. Let's just pretend Illinois has 20. I think it's 18, but let's say 20. Let's say Illinois' population goes down. In 10 years, Illinois has fewer people. So we've got to rejigger the House of Representatives, and Illinois now only gets 18 members of Congress, members of the House that is, instead of 20. Well, if Illinois only has 18 instead of 20, we've got to rewrite the state because everyone in the state has to be represented. So there isn't more of the dinos going with the dino. Thank you for that, Maxine. So they've got to rewrite the maps of the state to figure out how do they divide it up for 18 members of Congress. They wait until the census every 10 years. Well, Republicans decided to cheat, basically. Donald Trump ordered them to cheat and said, Republicans, it looks like you're going to lose the House of Representatives this fall. I want you to go and redraw those maps today and steal seats from Democrats. They did. They did it in Texas famously, then Florida. Democrats freaked out and said, fine, let's get even. So Democrats went and did it in California and Virginia. Those were the two big, and pretty much it was a draw. Maybe Democrats were a little ahead. Well, the Supreme Court of Virginia just struck down the Virginia plan. That's hard to say how many seats Democrats would have gotten. 3 to 5 seats possibly. I mean, it's a big deal. It was a very big deal of what that could have been. Republicans, because Donald Trump has been ordering them to do it, are now doing it in like 3 additional other states. It looks like, let me read you this actually, Politico, okay? Politico. Republicans just won the redistricting war and boosted their slim hopes for holding the House of Representatives. The Supreme Court gutting of the Voting Rights Act last week, coupled with the Virginia Supreme Court striking down a voter-approved Democratic gerrymander of 4 seats on Friday, it was 4 seats, has all but locked in Republican gains through redistricting in this year's midterms, giving them as much as a 10-seat boost with November rapidly approaching. What's really sick is currently, Republicans have got just a couple seat majority in the House of Representatives. By basically cheating and redrawing the map early, they were able to get a possibly 10-seat boost. They could get 10 seats more than they're supposed to. Now, Democrats should still win the House because Trump is doing so badly, but Democrats could absolutely positively destroy Republicans in the election and still lose the House of Representatives because the Republicans are cheating so badly. That's how bad it is. It's not good. I mean, this is, God, this guy, all he does is cheat. It's very bad stuff. Let me go on next up. Trump's ballroom. Good news, Trump's ballroom is in trouble. This, according to Punchbowl, President Trump's ballroom security money is in trouble. Several House and Senate Republicans are privately raising alarms about the $1 billion in Republican reconciliation bill and the political pitfalls of funding anything ballroom related. Quote, a first-year political science major would know not to ask members of Congress to take this vote, and we hope the Speaker does too. Thank you, Succeed. We're doing lots of dinosaurs today, aren't we? Another put it this way, there is no way in hell that this will get 218 votes on the floor. So the good news is Republicans are freaking out about Trump's $1 billion ballroom. He wants $1 billion more for the ballroom. He wants voters to pay for it. And Republican members of Congress basically do not want to take a vote in this climate that can be used against them in the fall. So that's good. Registered Republicans can vote for a Democrat. Yes, in the fall election, you can vote for anybody you want. The only thing is, yes, but the only thing that gets confusing is, yeah, I'm trying to remember this. In the general, primary elections are very weird, but in the general election, you don't ask for Republican or Democratic ballots that I recall, right? I'm trying to remember, guys. Do we have any states in the general election that you would do that? You can vote all Republican or all vote Democrat if you want to. It's me, Gen X, is saying Texas, you can. That's what I'm wondering. Like, are there any states where you still, but in a general election, not the primaries. The primaries are all messed up. Okay, everyone's pretty much saying for most of the states, yeah, for primaries are the weird ones where sometimes you can cross over, other times you can't. But for the general election, Mark is saying California might have something. Generally speaking, we'll put it this way, generally speaking, in the general election, you can vote for whoever you want. It doesn't matter if you're registered as a Republican or a Democrat, generally speaking. And some states you may not even register anyway, but it doesn't matter. The primary, that's where it gets more complicated, because some states have open primaries, some only let people registered as Democrats vote in the Democrat, Republican vote in the Republican, et cetera. So it can get more complicated. Thank you, Succeed. Another gift. What else we got? Hantavirus. So another really sort of scary thing going on. This Hantavirus thing, it's another virus. It's hitting cruise ships. There's a cruise ship thing going on right now. Let me read this. ABC News. Global health authorities are working to contain an outbreak of hantavirus aboard the MV Hondius cruise ship. The total number of confirmed cases associated with the outbreak is increasing. To date, 3 people who were aboard the ship are known to have died of the virus. It can be a very deadly virus. That's why they're worried about it. More than 100 passengers remain on the ship. The World Health Organization is monitoring their health. Officials say the overall public health risk remains low, but there may be some person-to-person risk. Centers for Disease Control, which is part of Health and Human Services run by Robert F. Kennedy. Thank you, Sadie. Robert F. Kennedy, who doesn't really believe in a lot of science. Check this out. The Centers for Disease Control actually had a special department to investigate infectious disease outbreaks on cruise ships. It was paid for by the cruise ship companies. So they had a special department that didn't cost the taxpayers anything. Cruise ship companies actually provided the funding for the department to basically track and respond to outbreaks on cruise ships, because cruise ships can have crazy numbers of people. What's the largest number in a cruise ship? Could it be 5,000 or 10,000 people? I don't do cruises, but I know like they can go into the thousands, like the number of people who can be on a cruise ship. It's crazy. It's like a small town. But I guess I could ask ChatGPT. I don't know what the largest, what the people who do cruise ships. I was going to say 5,000 plus staff. That's what I was thinking, right? Can it be 10? Let me ask and see if ChatGPT can give me a straight answer. What is the largest number of people who nowadays could be on a cruise ship?
The largest cruise ship in the world right now is the Icon of the Seas, operated by Royal Caribbean. At maximum capacity, it can carry up to about 7,600 passengers, plus around 2,350 crew.
Oh, wow. That's 10,000, including the crew. Okay. Somebody had said 10,000. You were right. That's it's about 10,000 people, including the crew. Wow. Okay. That's pretty big. So you can imagine if you've got, I know, I don't like ChatGPT, but sometimes for something like that, it gave a name of the ship. We'll try it. I wouldn't use it if I was submitting something for the record, let's put it that way. But you guys had already said it was upwards of 7,000 to 10,000. That's the problem. If you've got a ship that's got between 8,000 and 10,000 people on it, you're talking a small town, right? Or a decently sized town. Somebody gets sick, but it's not just a small town, it's a small town all on the same boat. So they can get each other sick very easily, right? The cabins are close together. You get it. This can be a very dangerous thing. So the CDC, so I was telling you, so the Centers for Disease Control under Robert F. Kennedy used to have a special division, a special office that dealt with infections on cruise ships. It was paid for by cruise ship companies, and in April of 2025, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. fired them all because he doesn't really believe in infectious diseases. Trump was asked today about the Hantavirus. Listen to this. Question. Have you been briefed on the Hantavirus? Yes, I have. What have you learned? It's very much, we hope, under control. For very confident man. It's very much, we hope, under control. Question. Should Americans be concerned it's going to spread? I hope not. We'll do the best we can. Yes, the voice of confidence and experience, because you remember the last time he had to deal with this, back in 2000, that was a lot of fun. It's going to go away by Easter. It did not go away by Easter. Kennedy was, another Kennedy story, Robert F. Kennedy, Reuters reports, was considering, last week, they were considering banning popular antidepressant drugs called SSRIs. Reuters, U.S. Health Department officials last week explored whether they could ban certain drugs and a widely prescribed class of antidepressants as Health Secretary Kennedy prepared to roll out a plan to reduce their use. Their interest centered on specific treatments with a class known as selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs, such as Zoloft, Prozac, and Lexapro, which have become available in the U.S. for decades. The source did not say which drugs were being examined for restrictions or how far the inquiries about them had advanced. Why? Well, the article goes on. He thinks he thinks antidepressant drugs could have roles in mass murders. There's no evidence, of course. You'll be surprised to hear he has no evidence. But Kennedy suspects that antidepressants could cause mass murders. And I forget what the other thing. There was some other aspect that he was, pregnant. He's back on his pregnant women thing. Dangerous for pregnant women. Again, doesn't really have proof, but maybe it was the UFOs that talked to him. You never know with this guy. Why? Why do you think? You know why he's opposed to it. Because he doesn't believe in science. And he's a crazy person. Anyway. Yeah. God forbid people were getting help. Iran. Several Iran stories here. The U.S. said today an Iranian response was expected as soon as later in the day on Friday on the latest proposal to end the war. U.S. forces struck 2 empty Iranian-flagged oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman, as apparently they were trying to avoid U.S. sanctions. The Fox News reports that former National Counterterrorism Center Director Joe Kent claimed in a post on Twitter that prior to the start of the Iran war, this is the guy that quit famously a couple weeks ago, who was a big MAGA guy, and he was our counterterrorism guy. He claimed that prior to the start of the war, the U.S. intelligence community agreed that Iran was not developing a nuclear weapon. Quote, one of the many tragedies of this war is that before the war began, the U.S. intelligence community, including CIA, was in agreement that Iran wasn't developing a nuclear weapon and that Iran would target U.S. bases in the region. And that Iran would target U.S. bases in the region and shut down the Strait of Hormuz if they were attacked by Israel and the U.S. Right? This was the whole thing of Trump claiming nobody could have known it. He's like, literally, the intelligence community had already concluded Iran was going to go after its neighbors and Iran was going to shut down the strait, causing gas and oil prices to spike. The intelligence community also properly assessed that targeting the Iranian leadership would strengthen the regime and embolden the hardliners. Despite the professionalism, and accuracy of the intelligence community, the narrative and agenda spun by a foreign government, Israel, won the argument and forced us into the war. I do think Israel conned us into this, but also the con went to the top of the White House. Obama and Biden, I think, both said Israel tried to spin them on this bullshit too, but they were too smart and didn't go along with it. Trump was not so smart, right? What else do we got here? The Atlantic reports that Trump is bored with the war in Iran. An outside advisor told them it's not going well and he is frantically looking for an off-ramp, the Atlantic reports. But Iran could extend the war for months and then it becomes a matter of which side can withstand the most economic hardship. This is the second report we've had of Donald Trump being bored with the war. He's old, guys, and he doesn't have the attention span anymore, and he's getting bored and he wants to move on, so he kind of just wants to accept whatever he can at this point. I mean, like, really? Again, if it were Joe Biden, Joe Biden was old, but you never heard stories about Joe Biden's getting bored with the latest crisis and just wants to move on, right? At least we didn't have that crap with Biden. The Economist. A little bit of Iran-Ukraine news. Until now, Vladimir Putin's government is thought to have provided intelligence that enabled Iran to target American forces in the Middle East. Our exclusive reporting shows Russia also offered to send fiber optic drones of the sort used in the Ukraine war. So Russia offered to give Iran a bunch of drones that they could use to kill American troops. CNBC says Wall Street has a new acronym for Trump, NACHO. Traders now have a new acronym who are skeptical that the Strait of Hormuz crisis will end anytime soon. NACHO, the shorthand, not a chance Hormuz opens, has emerged on trading desks and among market commentators to describe growing skepticism that repeated remarks by Trump about reopening the key shipping route will lead to a swift resolution. Quote, it's essentially the market losing hope in the chance of a quick fix, said eToro market analyzer Xavier Wong to CNBC. So basically, the markets it only took them 10 weeks. The markets may have finally figured out that Donald Trump lies a lot. And when he says the war is about to I love these guys. It's the 10th week of Trump claiming, oh, we're about to resolve the war. It's almost over. And they finally figured out after 10 weeks of this, maybe he's not telling the truth. Who knows? Economy. Actually, there was some good news today-ish for the economy. Wall Street Journal. The U.S. economy added 115,000 jobs in April. The Labor Department said far exceeding expectations. The unemployment rate stayed unchanged at 4.3%. Now, this is interesting from Wall Street Journal. I'll explain this in a second. The unemployment rate, the jobs report put the Federal Reserve's focus squarely on inflation data when it comes to determining its next move on interest rates. 4 months ago, a big question for the Fed was whether it needed to keep cutting rates to support what looked like a shaky labor market. That question is now gone. Okay, this is interesting. They're talking about raising interest rates, guys. So up until now, Federal Reserve has been trying to figure out what to do. Are they more worried about inflation or are they more worried about a recession? Because the jobs report was good enough, the experts are now saying the recession concern is no longer an immediate concern. The immediate concern is now inflation. Well, guess what happens with inflation? You raise interest rates. So even though Trump is going to be all, yay, right, the jobs report was good, Trump has been, remember, he was trying to throw Federal Reserve Chairman Powell in prison because he wouldn't lower interest rates. Trump is desperate to lower interest rates because when you lower interest rates, it pushes the economy faster and he wants a fast economy. The problem is it also potentially makes inflation go out of control and we're already worried about inflation. So this story means Trump's desire for interest rates to come down is probably not going to happen. They're going to probably have to raise interest rates to keep an eye on inflation. I don't think it's just one. I'm trying to remember. I think it's been the report for the last the last couple reports that they're feeling better now. I agree. One report, first of all, good point about, because somebody asked about, can you trust one report? What annoys me with this is typically we find out half a year later that the report was wrong. That always confuses me a bit, which Matt just said there. They're always changing the reports. So it kind of confuses me when the markets go yay or boo, and you're kind of going, yeah, but do we really, are these numbers real? And not are they real because they're Trump's numbers, are they real because they're always adjusting the numbers later? What else we got? Trump is still lying about the economy. On Monday, he said consumer confidence is way up. In fact, the University of Michigan's consumer sentiment index hit a post-1952 record low for the second straight month. Let me, I've got a couple of videos I want to show you on this. Hang on. Pull up the video. I'll put my glasses on. Actually, the news is going. I had a lot of news on pages, but it's going quickly verbally. Okay, here's one.
Consumers feel about the economy?
Wait,
and how do consumers feel about the economy?
Not great.
Yeah,
Not
it's
great.
a different story.
Yeah. Very different story. We just got the worst reading ever. And these are numbers that go back to the 1950s. 48.2 is this index number. That means that more people hate this economy than like it. And this is the worst reading we've ever gotten.
And how do consumers feel about the economy?
The consumer confidence in the economy is the worst ever recorded. Donald Trump claimed on Monday, pull that again, that consumer confidence is way up. He is a pathological liar. We've talked about this. Guys, and again, as somebody who lives and works in Washington, D.C., who's been in this town for 40 years, I've worked in the United States Senate, I've worked for the federal government, I've done contracting for the executive branch. Nobody lies like this. Nobody lies like this. Not Republicans, not Democrats. Nobody lies to this degree. This man lies about everything. It's very bad. What's very bad is because typically with a president, you can believe a lot of what they say. Some things might be lies. With Donald Trump, and it's just a blatant lie. Consumer confidence is way up. No, it's the biggest lie ever. Not only is consumer confidence not way up, what was, again, his exact quote? Yeah, consumer confidence is way up was the Trump quote. it's actually at the lowest level ever. I mean, you could not have a bigger lie. It's like saying somebody's alive and they're really dead, basically, right? Consumer confidence is way up. No, it's not just down, it's at the lowest level ever. Now, why does this matter? Because 2/3 of the economy is consumer spending. 2/3 of the economy is you and me going on Amazon and buying stuff, or the grocery store, or buying a car, or whatever. But it's us spending money. So it's a huge deal when consumer sentiment is that low, because it means people start hoarding their money, they start not spending it, they don't go on vacation, or they pick a smaller vacation. Instead of going to Europe, they go to the Wisconsin Dells. Anybody, Midwesterners, right? But you start to spend, will you stop? You start to spend, oh, she wants what? Let me get the whiner a touch of water. She's early tonight. One moment. It's bad stuff. Oh, you didn't even want a treat. You just wanted a treat, you liar. You liar. Oh, you're so bad. You're not getting anything right now. So bad. Of course, my dog, who's a liar, did not need water. She wanted a treat. So she faked. I always know when I go over there and she's looking the opposite way of her dog bowl, of her dog bowl. She's looking at the counter, which means treat. Anyway, so what else we got? Fox News on inflation and the cost of living. Here is Fox News, right? Fox News, the Republican channel, talking about
People voted for President.
Talking about cost of living and inflation.
People voted for President Trump in part to make the cost of living lower and making ends meet easier, and it's gone the wrong way in the last couple of months. Taylor, people voted for President Trump in part to make the cost of living lower and making ends meet easier, and it's gone the wrong way in the last.
In the last couple of, that's Fox News. That the cost of living has gone in the wrong way, and people voted for Trump to make the cost of living better, and he hasn't, and it hasn't. Cost of living goes up every year. Duh. Do you have any more platitudes you'd like to share with us before we ban you? I think that was a silly thing to say. But when it goes up, I don't know, 66%, do you have a problem with that? Because gas prices are up 66% since January. You think that happens every year? Do you think the price of beef goes to $6.50 every year? No, it doesn't. So, nice try. Coffee doesn't go to $15 for 10 ounces of coffee when it used to be $8 or $10 for 12 ounces of coffee. And again, don't try to gaslight people about, this is where, and by the way, if you like that comment, this guy was just suggesting that there's no inflation. No, this happens every year. Prices go up every year. There's no problem. If you agree that there's no problem, definitely keep voting for the same people, right? Vote for Donald Trump and the Republicans if you think that inflation's no big problem. Like this guy just said, inflation's no big problem, right? Goes up every year. No problem. Cost of living goes up every year. If you think this is just normal what's going on and you're okay with the prices going up, then keep voting for them, because this is exactly the problem. These are people who think this is normal. People who do not want to address the problem, because they're telling you this is normal, like Donald Trump said. Donald Trump said if oil went up to $200 a barrel, it's $100 now, went up to $200 a barrel, he'd be okay. It's worth it. Not a big deal. Okay, great. Again, keep those comments coming, because they're going to basically get people to vote for Democrats. So please keep it coming. Trump, here's, hold on a second here. Oh, yeah, here we go. Trump lying about gasoline prices. Here's another good one. Keep in mind, gasoline prices are up 66%. Right now, they're at $4.54. They were at $2.73. This is an average price for regular gasoline in America, the average price. They were at $2.73 in January, $2.73 a gallon. Now it's $4.54, up 66%. What did Donald Trump say?
They asked us not to do it during the negotiation.
Are you considering maybe going back to that now that gas prices are more than $4?
Well, no, gas prices have come down today. Have you looked? They've come down very substantially today. The gas prices, you know what's happened today? Gas prices are way down, and the stock market is way up today. So
gas prices dropped 2 cents today. Okay, gas prices were at $4.56 or $4.56 or $4.57, and now they're at $4.55, 54. Gas prices dropped by like 2 pennies today. Oh, no, no, no. Gas prices are down significantly. They dropped 2 pennies. They're still up 66%. Gas prices are up. How much would that be? $1.70? Yeah, $1.70. Gas prices are up about $1.70 from where they were. All right, dog, you can go, but I'm going to yell at you if you eat my plants. I'm warning you right now. Don't eat the plants. Again, they're not going to fix the inflation problem. They're not going to fix it. If anybody is telling you that there's no problem with inflation, if anybody's telling you prices are down, there's no problem anymore, if anybody tells, for example, gasoline, he just said gas prices are down. You all know what you pay for gas. Are you paying less for gas now? Are you paying way down, he said. Are you paying way less for gasoline now? No. I mean, I know the answer to this one. None of you are. Because gas and diesel prices are still going up. Yeah. No, I mean, this is, no, the stock market's up. If you've got stocks, that's great, right? But guess what? You're paying 66% more for gas. Are your stock, by the way, gasoline is up 66%. Did you make 66% in the stock market to pay for that oil? Right? Did your stock investments go up 66% since January to compensate for the 66% increase in gasoline prices? No. So that's nice, but I mean, I'm glad the stock market's up. That's good, but come on, right? What else we got here? Okay, that's it on that front. Oh, the statue. I was going to show you this too. So speaking of being indifferent about the economy, Trump, I thought this was AI. It's real. Trump did a phone-in to his Doral resort in Florida where they just put up the 20-foot gold monument to him. He just phoned in because they had an unveiling ceremony. I swear to God, I thought this was AI. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I want to make sure everyone can hear.
Look at this
sir.
crazy thing.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank you so much for being there today, and more importantly, for what you did. The statue is beautiful. I saw it during the weekend. We had a big PGA tournament.
Look at this.
With a great champion and all great champions, actually, but it was a great tournament, and I got to look at it very closely, and it's incredible. And I just want to thank you. I know it was done from love, and I want to thank Mark Burns.
It's incredibly gaudy. It's disgusting.
He's a good man.
Yeah.
I've known him a long time. He's been with me from the beginning.
20-foot gold statue.
Maybe about 2 days later, right? 2 days. Right, Mr. President.
And, by the way,
I appreciate it, Mark.
in case you didn't notice, it's the picture from when the guy took a shot at him and the piece of glass hit his ear or whatever it was. It's the picture from that of him standing up and putting his fist in the air. He's still trying to use the assassination attempt for politics. Yeah. 20-foot gold statue. How's your cost of living doing? How's your inflation doing? Right? By the way, still not focusing on inflation. Like we said, today he claimed prices are down. I mean, if he's going to keep lying and saying prices are down, then he's not going to focus on prices. He is going to focus on more vanity projects like this, a 20-foot gold statue. Like his ballroom costing $1 billion. Wouldn't it be nice if he ever focused on the economy? Like, all right, I'm going to see what my dog is doing again so she's not eating my plants. I have an old dog, and anybody who watches the show knows you kind of have to deal with my dog as the show goes on. It's kind of the way it works. Okay. Push up. Let's go. Okay, hello. I see you. Yep, come on. All right. There you go. Good job. Losing her hearing, but she still gets some of the sharp stuff. So if I snap and say, okay, she hears me. That was good. Okay. What else we got? CNN on family vacations this summer. Reporter, how much more money is my summer vacation going to cost? I don't have great news for you, says the reporter on CNN. Thank you, son. For a family, it's going to cost, this is more. How much more is my summer vacation going to cost? For a family, it's going to be about $4,000 this year. That's a lot of money. It's so much money that almost half of people said, forget the whole thing, I'm staying at home. Half of Americans are giving up their vacation plans because inflation has gotten so high. But Donald Trump says, no, it's not. No, it's not. I guess when you've got a $4,000 for a family vacation, can you imagine? I guess when you've got a 20-foot gold statue of yourself, you don't really worry about the prices people pay when they go on family vacations. But that didn't stop Trump's Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy. He's a real winner with that horrible Rachel woman that's his wife. This is great. Trump's secretary, remember, you know how the last year all those planes have been crashing into each other and all that crap, right, within our airports under Trump? Guess what the Secretary of Transportation announced today on Fox News? He's been traveling around the country for 7 months with his family, touring America for the 250th anniversary of the country and filming a reality TV show while he's Secretary of Transportation. He has a full-time job as Secretary of Transportation, and he spent the last 7 months traveling around the country on vacation with his family, filming a reality TV show for the anniversary. In addition to being Secretary of Transportation, because, you know, it's such an easy job. It's not like planes crash into each other, right? Or things run into planes on tarmacs and things. We've been paying him this whole time. Yeah. And he gets a 7-month family. Who goes on vacation for 7 months? This is the era. Mind you, who goes on vacation for 7 months? I mean, if you're rich and you're independently wealthy, go for it. When I've hired you to be my Secretary of Transportation and I'm paying your money, I'm paying your salary, you don't get to go on a 7-month vacation, right? Keep in mind, these were the guys. And this is amazing. These Republicans were the ones who made fun of Pete Buttigieg. They criticized Democrat Pete Buttigieg because he had just adopted 2 small babies. And the babies were in, I don't know if they were in critical condition. They were in very bad condition. They were afraid of these kids dying. And he took a little bit of leave off of work because the kids were in the ICU and there was risk of these children dying. And the Republicans made fun of him for taking off the job at all when his child was possibly about to die. This guy, the Republican MAGA guy, takes 7 months while he's at work, a 7-month vacation with his family. Mind you, to film a reality TV show. Yeah. What else we got? Reuters, global perceptions of the U.S. have deteriorated for a 2nd consecutive year and are now worse than views of Russia. As President Trump's policies continue to severely strain the NATO alliance. Surprise. mRNA flu vaccines via NBC. New results published in the New England Journal of Medicine find Moderna's mRNA flu vaccine gave more protection against illness than the standard flu shot in a phase 3 clinical trial. Trump announced a 3-day ceasefire in Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine, including a prisoner swap. The Ukrainians have signed on. Zelensky did something pretty funny because Putin's been freaking out that Zelensky was going to attack their May 9th parade they have, you know, to celebrate the end of World War II. And Zelensky signs on to the ceasefire and issues a decree permitting Putin to have his parade. He didn't issue a decree saying we'll have a ceasefire. He issued the decree and said, okay, because we're agreeing to the ceasefire, we agree we won't attack your parade and you can have it now. Basically, to kind of condescend and make it look like you couldn't have the parade unless we gave you. Putin was panicking about this parade. They were talking about getting rid of the bleachers. I mean, it was a disaster. So that was quite funny. Finally, UFOs. Trump administration unveiled a swath of never-before-seen UFO videos today. Hard to know what's up with that. I mean, I saw some of them. Interesting stuff. I don't know. I love the UFO. I love the UFO stuff, but I also don't follow it enough to know what's new and interesting and what isn't. They all sucked, Ward is saying. I mean, there was some, like, there were the 3 dots by the moon and some of this crap, but, you know, interesting stuff. I mean, I don't object to the UFO stuff. I mean, it'd be nice to have the Epstein files. Keep in mind, half the Epstein files have still not been released. Practically half in violation of U.S. law. So there's that. You know, I guess we got lucky because the UFOs didn't abduct any children. If they abducted children, Trump would never tell us about it, but at least we got to find this out, you know, so anyway. All right, that actually still went pretty fast today. It's only 6:40. All right. All right, let's hang and talk. I'm going to adjust my lighting a little. Ooh, that got even brighter. Oops. I may need to put a new light. Ah! Ay. There we go. Ay! Still bright. I'm trying to go a little bit less bright because it's in my eyes. All right, guys. UFOs that are a distraction from Epstein, they are. I still don't object to having the UFO information public because I like the UFO thing. I find it interesting. So I definitely don't object to it. Him say, our weapons stores have more than doubled since the start of Iran. That's just bullshit. Yeah, I didn't see him say it, but I'm not surprised. The chupacabra. Exactly. What else, guys? What else? Anyway, yeah, so we're done a little early today. We can hang and talk. I mean, done. We're not done, but we're done with the official news part. I know this is my dinosaur unicorn, my T-Rex unicorn rainbow T-shirt, which was a combination of everything crazy, but I think it's hilarious. And I love because I'm into dinosaurs, but I also wanted something a bit goofy. So I was on Amazon and I said, dinosaurs and rainbows. And this came up and I went, oh yeah. And I was like, and a T-Rex just to make it even more fun. I love it. I think it's quite fun. Anyway. What else, guys? So let's talk. We can talk. Oh, thank you, Dawn, for the Dino Dawn. We can talk about whatever you want. No feathers. I know that's true. No dinosaur. It does have color. I'll give it credit for giving the T-Rex some red, but it is true. It is not giving the T-Rex any feathers, which we now suspect that maybe they've had. I mean, dinosaurs are birds, or I should say birds are dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are not birds. Birds are dinosaurs, which is kind of cool when you think about it. That's why I'm getting dinos today. I assumed as much. Yeah. Thank you for the dinos. Pete Hoekstra. I don't know. I didn't see what happened. What happened, Chris? I did not see that at all. No. Oh, you got a CPAP machine. Interesting. I know I may have to get tested for all of that too. I'm not looking forward to it, but I actually had a good night's sleep. I was so tired that I went to bed early and had a actually good night's sleep last night, thank God. What else, guys? So yeah, we can talk about whatever you want. Questions or anything. Yeah, the Epstein suicide note. So the New York Times got their hands on the Epstein suicide note. Apparently, I don't follow Epstein close enough. Apparently, he tried to kill himself or whatever, or somebody did. 2 weeks before he died, there was a previous almost died, and there was a suicide note from the previous almost died. Again, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It sounded real, but who the hell knows, right? With insurance, it cost $1,100. Holy shit. That's bad. Wow. Crazy. Wow. And a lot of people use the CPAP. That's a bit expensive. Bill Barr. I mean, it's a little, obviously, the Epstein stuff. Sasha, no. The Epstein stuff is pretty weird. The thing is, I feel about Epstein the same way I feel about many stories. Do I think Donald Trump did it? Do I think Donald Trump would do it? Right? Am I a European? Not until Monday afternoon. Monday afternoon, I will be a European. Today, I'm just American. So, soon. Maps issues in Tennessee. I know the other states are doing I don't know the details of it. The other states that are doing the redistricting, it's bad. I mean, the Tennessee one. The Tennessee is the one where they got rid of all the black seats, right? Or there was one black seat remaining. There was one black congressional seat because there's 16% blacks in Tennessee, and they got rid of it. Yeah, there's an amazing. I don't have the photo here. There's an amazing photo. Oh my God, of a African American state representative. I'm going to look and see if I can find it. The African American state representative. Oh my God. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure what you were talking about. That's what you're talking about. Let me see if Sasha, I hear you. If I retweeted it, I will have here. Let me see. Let's see. I'm hoping I have. Shoot. Hey, please stop. Come on, stop, please. Hold on, I'm going to scroll down. I think I can find this. Somebody did a Marco Rubio for the UFO files being released, because this is a meme they always do now of Marco Rubio sitting on the White House seat. This might have been when he was sitting there when Zelensky was getting grilled. And they did the UFO files being released, which I thought was really good. I mean, it's really, it's very funny. I'm going to do a tweet for this if I have to. I mean, a search on Google. Sasha, you were just out there. I don't believe you. Here it is. Here it is. Sergeant at Arms blocks Tennessee Representative Justin Pearson from entering the committee room as Republicans vote to eliminate the state's only black majority district. Look at this picture of this African-American lawmaker and the law enforcement refusing to let him into the committee room. I mean, this is a Pulitzer photo. Yeah, I'll show you guys. I mean, this is a Pulitzer Prize photo. You know, the thing is, it's everything about it. It's almost, I mean, it's not. It looks staged, but it's obviously not, because he's stopping him from going into the room. He's security and he's a lawmaker. So clearly they didn't stage this. They're on opposite sides, so to speak. But it's the most amazing photo. It's really wild. Yeah, it looks, Memphis, yeah, it looks like something from the 1950s or 1960s with segregation is what it looks like. Yeah. You know, good for that Memphis representative. Good for him. You know, he was on Don Lemon's show. Of course he was. Don is great. We love Don. Good for him. Yeah. Wild, amazing photo though. Absolutely amazing photo. So anyway, anyway. What's the story? Tennessee is following Donald Trump's lead, ordering Republicans to steal as many congressional seats as they can. So they redrew the congressional seats and got rid of the seat that basically was the only seat that blacks in the states could win, because blacks are 16% of the state. And they got rid of the seat so that the black people cannot have, so that basically there will be no black representative. And it also means the Democrats will not have a seat either. So there won't be anybody black and there won't be anybody Democratic. Okay, here you go, over here. Over here. Hey. Over there you go. Sasha, here. Goofball, there you go. She doesn't see well enough outside, the poor thing. She doesn't see very well outside when it's bright out, so she comes to my window and starts to jump on the window thinking it's the door. And I'm like, no, you silly. Yeah, so very bad. Have aliens been confirmed? No, they have not, sadly. I told you on that front, which actually we've got to get him on the show. I did email him. He didn't email me back. He's a friend of mine. Garrett Graff, who wrote the book about aliens, about UFOs, about UFOs. And Garrett said that basically he went through all the files, very good political journalist, went through all the files, interviewed a lot of people. And I asked him, I said, okay, give me the 30-second answer. Are there aliens? And he said, there's no evidence at all that there's aliens. He goes, there's literally nothing. He goes, I saw nothing at all to even suggest that aliens are real. He said, but, is there a conspiracy to hide what we have? Absolutely. He said, there was a government conspiracy to hide the information we had about aliens, but we don't really have any proof about aliens. And he goes, it's very weird, but that's what his book concluded, that the government was being very weird about it, but, I take care of my plants because I don't travel enough. When I start traveling, then I'm in trouble. I mean, Damien does take care of them sometimes. I mean, when I travel, because I don't have a choice. But I'll be in trouble when that starts happening. Oh, wow. Ron, a moose was running up and down the alley terrorizing the dogs. I got chased by a moose once in Alaska. Very scary stuff. Moose are terrifying. I mean, they're cool, but they're terrifying. Literally, we were hiking in Alaska, and some trail outside of Anchorage, or maybe in Anchorage, but some trail through the woods, and there's a moose with its young, and somebody's got their dog, and the dog is basically going up and barking at the moose, and we're all going, don't do this. What happens? The moose starts running at the dog runs out of the way, and the moose is now running at us. We ran so freaking fast, because the moose will kill you. Terrified. The size of these things, and boy, they're fast too. And its young was there. I mean, oh my God. Terrifying thing, yeah. And it wasn't our fault. We were like hiking, walking by, and we're going, what's going on? And we're like, oh, this does not look good. And then boom, the dog runs and we're standing there going, it wasn't us, it was the damn dog. Very scary stuff. Where are you, Ron? I don't remember. Where are you that you saw that? That's a very Alaska experience. I missed the show because the moose was in the backyard bothering the dog. Very Alaska experience. Amanda says her sister was chased by a moose at her school bus stop when we lived in Alaska. There you go. Yep. We stayed at a friend's house once and woke up and there were moose in her backyard, which is very funny too. Fort St. John, I don't know where that is, but it sounds like Canada. Where is that? Is it like Eastern Canada or something, or where? Alaska in country, lived in Alaska. I loved Alaska. Linda, are you Alaska too? A lot of Alaskans. Northern British Columbia, okay. Fort St. John, Western Canada. Ah, okay. Oh, so you're closer to, Linda's in Fort St. John. I see. Okay, yeah. Oh, you are too. Ron, you're in the same place. Linda, I think you're both in the same place maybe. Or Linda, were you saying Fort St. John is there? You're not saying you're in Fort St. John. I'm totally confused where everybody is now. But okay, west, okay. Oh, Linda's in Alaska, sorry. Where are you in Alaska, if I may ask, Linda? You don't have to tell us, but if you don't mind sharing, I'm curious. Because I worked for Ted Stevens, the senator from Alaska, years ago. So I'd been to Alaska maybe 10 times. I loved Alaska. Oh my God, great place. Crazy place, but great place. South of Anchorage, okay, that's cool. Yep, that's nice. That's all right, just curious where in that sense, yeah. Photographers are more afraid of a moose encounter than a bear. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Near Yukon border, okay. Yeah, I mean, I just know, like, I'd been warned enough about moose that we knew to be careful, and the damn thing's charging us. Although bear, I don't really like to run in bear either, to be honest. You know? I mean, you know, we were camping and we had to bring firearms with us because of the chance of bear. And I was like, God, you know, having to, and they'd show me how to use the gun because I was like, all right, well, you know, no moose in Southeast, just bear. Okay, interesting. Yeah, this was definitely Anchorage that we saw the moose. Yeah. I didn't spend enough time in, I've been to Juneau. I'm trying to remember where else I'd been in Southeast. Sitka? I think Sitka's down there, right? I'm trying to remember. I didn't spend a ton of time in Southeast though. I mean, I've been all over, but Anchorage was always our base. Well, I guess I didn't spend a lot of time anywhere other than Anchorage. I've been to many parts of Alaska, but you know, we were actually my fun Alaska story. One of them was we were in Nome, you know, Northwest Alaska, on the water. There's a really cool bar there. I used to have the T-shirt, and then the T-shirt got, you know, fell apart, whatever. But I got the T-shirt there. Some bar in Nome that's right on the water, and it's neat because the back windows of the bar are on the water, so like the water splashes on the windows. Really cool rustic wooden bar. I'm guessing there aren't too many of them in Nome. Anybody who knows Nome, and we're in the bar, and the waitress comes up to us and goes, "Oh, in the back of the bar, there's she goes, Richard Gere." And we're like, "Get out of here." She goes, no, look, with the baseball hat. Richard Gere was in the back of the bar with a baseball cap. This is early 1990s, so he was still young. I mean, he's still hot. He was young and very hot because it was 30 years ago. Richard Gere, baseball hat down like this, dressed kind of shabby, and he's sitting in the back of the bar at a table. Nobody knew who he was. Waitress knew who. Everyone left him alone. We were like, Richard Gere, but like in a bar in Nome, like a little bar restaurant. It was very cool. Should have gone up. I didn't want to bother him. Should have gone and bothered him, actually. I should have been like, I work for the senator. You know, what the hell? But he's very hot, I know. Anyway, so that was fun. That was fun. Actually, my other Richard Gere story was this woman who was chief of staff to Mitch McConnell at the time. And I think I may have even talked to her. I'm trying to remember. You get to a certain age and you don't remember anymore if somebody told you the story or you lived the story. I either knew someone who worked for McConnell or it was the woman herself who told me, but I think it was her. And Richard Gere was going around, I think, talking on behalf of Tibet. Again, early 1990s maybe. And he was going around meeting with the different senators, and I believe talking about Tibet. And McConnell didn't want to meet with him. She met with him. And of course, she's kind of like, yeah, Richard Gere's hot. What the hell? But and I remember her saying, I met with him thinking he's hot. What the hell? But this is going to be stupid meeting some movie star. And I remember her saying she was so freaking impressed with him. Like, he was incredibly impressive on the issues. That's my takeaway from 30 years ago was just her saying, oh no, it blew, she goes, I was happy to meet him because he's Richard Gere, he's hot. But she couldn't believe how good he was, thinking you're getting just some movie star, Very interesting. And it must have been Tibet. I vaguely remember him advocating on behalf of Tibet back then. I think so. And he'd be super hot in the early 90s too. Exactly, Squee. But anyway, Richard Gere. Richard Gere's in the back wearing a baseball hat. I vaguely remember he's a Buddhist. Yep. Yeah, famous, but in other words, smart. And in other words, he presented his case very well. That's the interesting thing, right? Adjusting this. That he presented his case so well, right? Could have been me? What do you mean? With the moose or Richard Gere? I could have been Mrs. Gere. I did cut my hair, but it was a couple weeks ago, but thank you. Yep, it was a couple weeks ago. But because it's my hair, it looks different every day because it's just the way it is. Dirty Dancing, Richard Gere. No, that would be Dirty Dancing isn't Dirty Dancing what's his face? Patrick Swayze? I never saw it. But isn't that Swayze or what was it for Dirty Dancing? I think Patrick Swayze, right? Yeah, it was Patrick Swayze, which I admit I haven't seen. I probably should. It's one of those movies that you should, Can get a shot with a frostbitten toe? I'm not sure what that means, Dave. What do you mean? Patrick Swayze, exactly. Right, Richard Gere was Pretty Women. I never saw Dirty Dancing. Well, the concept didn't really interest me. Definitely not related to Anderson Cooper, no. People have said that before, and I'm always like, how do you think I look like? Anderson's about as white as I'm Greek. Anderson's as white as you get. But thank you, because I think he's hot, but yeah, no. Some people have said that occasionally, but I'm always like, Anderson Cooper, funny. Nope. I am not a Vanderbilt. We are not the Greek side of the Vanderbilts, that's for sure. Well, that's what I mean. Greeks are Anderson. We're white, but he's whiter. We're white, but Anderson's like white, way whiter than we are. Is he nice? I assume from everything you hear, he seems to be very nice. Somebody gave me his cell phone once. I've never used it because I don't want to be a jerk, but it's in my phone. Oh wait, I've got it in there. It's in my phone, but I'm never going to use it, but it's nice to have because you never know. And then again, he may have changed his phone at this point. Sasha, I hear you. I do hear you. Where is this? Where's my little? Yep. I'm not gonna like show you. Oop, where is this? But that's my Anderson Cooper cell phone record. But stop. That's my humble brag. But Charlie Puth. I don't know who Charlie Puth is. Or Puth. Don't know who that is. I can look. And then I get which I always think is weird too, when people think I look like what's his face, Anthony Bourdain. And I'm always like, Anthony Bourdain. Now, Anthony Bourdain, very hot and everything else, right? But I always find that kind of funny because I'm like, Anthony Bourdain was a way wilder. Oh, Charlie Puth, he's very young. I don't know who that is. 34, he's definitely younger than me. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I don't think that looks like me either, but funny. He's got that eyebrow thing going too. Yeah. Funny. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking, I don't think it's me though, but I look at this and I go, okay, I'm guessing I see that face on this picture, I do see the face and think, okay, there's a chance with that face, maybe, right? But obviously much younger. Again with you. Yeah, the Anthony Bourdain thing, I mean, maybe the hair, right? I don't know. Funny. Oh, he's a singer? Interesting. Bourdain looks like me, yeah. But I mean, he was way wilder than I am. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's what makes me laugh with him. Like, you know, I very much enjoyed his show, but you know. Yeah, Donald Trump does. Oh, but Donald Trump has been doing that. Somebody was saying that Donald Trump, a guy on Sky News says he has Donald Trump's number and he answers. Donald Trump is famous for that. The last couple of weeks, all the reporters have been getting his phone number and calling him and he answers. So, you know, I could always see if I know anybody who can get me the number, just to call and call him when we're on the show. Hi, Mr. President. Can I ask you a quick question about the war? You know. Patton Oswalt, oh God, that's funny. Well, that's like, I was at a wedding reception once, and we were at the bar or something, and I remember, it must have been my cousin's wedding, because it was with his friends who I just met, and we're at a bar, and the woman like next to us at the bar is drunk, and she's like, she looks at me, she goes, "You look like Tom Hanks." And I used to get that a lot. Like when I was really young, I got Arnold Horshack all the time. Then I got Tom Hanks all the time because the curly, imagine my hair black, right? So that like curly black hair. And she goes, "You look like Tom Hanks." And I said, "Yeah, I've heard that before." And she turns to my cousin's friend who's with me and she goes, "And you look like Norm from Cheers." And he's like, "Are you kidding me?" He goes, "He looks like Tom Hanks and I look like overweight Norm." It was like, oh well. But it was the funniest damn thing. Yeah, Norm from Cheers. Although Norm was attractive, but Norm was big, right? Yeah, I used to get Horshack all the time in high school and early college. I'd have to look for my, actually, I've got my ID. I'd have to find, actually, hold on. I may be able to find my ID. 1 second. It's in my, because that's the one to show you. My college ID is hiding on me. My college ID is hiding on me. I found my college one is pretty funny though, because my college one is massive afro. This was my high school ID that I still have with the hair. So that was me with high school hair. Oop, you guys can see. I don't know whether I was Horshack then, although the hair certainly was. I got big hair. I mean, I had very big, I mean, I always have big hair. So that's my high school hair. And although this one I kind of like, this was, I was in London for a week and got I got their transit. I actually like this one. This one I think is pretty cool. This one I really like though. Like that, it's not a. This isn't a mugshot. This is like my. I'm a member of some punk band, or no, I'm some rock band in the 80s. That I like this photo. I think this is a pretty cool one. So that's my John was a member of a rock band in the 80s, like Flock of Seagulls look. But I'd forgotten. I didn't even remember having this one. Yeah, Mel Gibson hair. I hope it's better than Mel Gibson's. But I like that one. I think that one's kind of cool, isn't it? But I've still got the. It's still the whole set. Isn't that wild though? From May of 1984. I just think it's really cool. You know, isn't that funny? I was visiting, and I guess it was cheaper to get it was cheaper to just buy a 1 week or 2 week pass, whatever I was going. So it was the May 1984 thing. Isn't that cool? I just think it's very cool. All right, thank you. I appreciate that, Rock. So kind of fun. You got one too? Yeah. It's just it was like a fun thing to find. I've still got my Paris, my carte orange from 1983-84. That's kind of fun. So some of those things are always kind of fun to find. You know, it's just kind of a fun little. Oh, I always had big hair. My hair's, well, even this, the problem is like, I like it long and wavy, but to get long and wavy, it first has to get big, you know? It's just it's very annoying. Thank you, Serenity. Appreciate that. Rail Pass from the 70s, yeah. They're fun. They're fun when you sort of look them up and find them. Anyway, Debbie Gibson hair. Oh, come on, be nice. Be nice. Anyway, a couple more minutes, guys. Yeah, so tomorrow morning, remember, we've got the hangout for the monthly subscribers, 11 o'clock. I've got my Greek class at 10, so usually a couple minutes late. And Monday, when we do Monday's show at 6 o'clock, I will be a newly minted European Union citizen. So that will be exciting. I won't have a passport yet, but I will. I'm told I may get a certificate of some kind, which I hope I get. So that will be fun. So woo woo woo. Yep, that'll be Monday afternoon. Very excited. Only been trying I've been trying for 40 years, but I've been inquiring for 40 years and then trying really hard for 15 years. Thank you, Terry. It's just crazy. Yeah, I saw that, Dario. I was surprised about that. Yeah. Is it possible to renew your passport without getting Trump's face on it? Yes, I am told that if you renew your passport in D.C. right now, you might get Trump's face. If you get it only in D.C., you'll get Trump's face on your passport, and it's supposedly only for a limited time. So I'm hoping by the time I need to do it in 2018, I don't have to deal with Trump. So hopefully, we shall see. Oh, hey, Ashley Beese. Will I wear a suit? Yeah, I'm going to wear my suit. Yeah, it feels appropriate. I mean, I hate wearing a suit. But it feels appropriate to wear. I don't know. I think I have to wear my suit to the embassy. Also because the embassy people too, like, you know, I feel like it's a little bit of a work-related thing too, because it's the embassy people that I probably should wear a suit anyway, you know? So I'm gonna wear my suit. I hate wearing suits, to be honest. I'm gonna wear my. I hate wearing suits, though. I really do, but I'm gonna have to. Thank you, Dave. 2028. Yes, 2028. My passport expires, so I'll get a new one then. Thank you, WC. And then, so I get my citizenship on Monday. Then I've got to wait to be registered in Greece, and then when I get the registration back, which could be as early as a week or two, then I can apply for a passport, which will be fun. Because then I'll have my maroon European Union passport, and that will be verklempt. So, anyway. Anyway. But yes, you can renew your passport online. Somebody told me the other day, I was reading somebody the other day that said they renewed their passport online and didn't do any of the expedited stuff. They got their passport in a week. They did it online, did their photo, whatever you have to do. A week later, it arrived, and they didn't even expedite it. So things may be going okay right now for the passport. But again, I don't want to get, mine's got 2 more years, and I don't want Trump, the U.S. passport we're talking. I don't want Trump's face on my passport. So, exactly. Exactly. I can skip the American lines and the European passport and the European airports. But then again, if I'm with somebody, then if I go alone, yes. If I'm with somebody else, then I've got to wait for them anyway. But you need to get your sons. Are your sons not? So are you an Anastasia then? I don't remember if we chatted before. Are you Greek? Since it says Anastasia, which could be Greek, but if it's Anastasia, then you're definitely Greek. I hear you, dog. We're almost done. We're almost done. Almost done. I know. Oh, you're from West Virginia. Oh, that's cute. How to navigate gaining Greek citizenship. It's still very hard. I can explain to people who do it my way. It is still a very complicated process. Very complicated. For some people, it can be much easier. I know how to do it the way I had to do it, so I could help people with that. I would still not want to give people advice if, for example, if your parents were born there and they were registered, that's a whole other process that should be easier, but I never understood it. I know the hard way when it's basically your grandparents. When it's basically your grandparents who were born there. Mom was born there too, but she wasn't registered. So that's a unique case that kind of screwed me. But I do know a lot about it. But again, I still don't know it perfectly, so it still makes me a little nervous. I don't know if my sister wants it. My brother kind of wants it, but it's not easy. And I don't know, he's never going to live there. I could live there. He's not going to live there. For his sons, maybe, although I don't know if his son is Greek enough to win, to pull it off, because you kind of have to be Greek enough to get it too. I also don't know whether his son cares. And his wife is English, so she doesn't have European, but she's already got that going for them. So I don't know, but my sister, I don't think my sister wants to do it. Honestly, I think my sister got turned off because the process was so hard for me. I've been doing this 15 years. It was so hard. And it was just horrible that I think it turned her off. Because I would call her and go, oh my God, you're not going to believe the latest twist. And she was like, ah. So, it will be easier for my family now because now I've got all the documents. Now I've got all the documents we need. So now they might have to get a new copy of the documents, but it'll honestly be way easier. It's way easier now. Literally 15 years. Yes, it was horrible. But will you relax? I know, just wait. So no, my nephew, I think he's going to try next year probably. And it's a little bit harder because he'll be basing it on his great-grandfather, which is harder but doable. But he might be able to. Thank you, Leslie. I love that. We were talking about my shirt earlier. I got this on Amazon. I typed in rainbow dinosaur, and this came up, and I went, yes. But I'm hoping he'll be able to get it through my grandfather, his great-grandfather, because, I think he can pull off being Greek enough. Because the problem, it's very complicated. There's a special pathway for Greeks abroad that is easier than strangers wanting to be Greek, but not as easy as if your mom was born there and she was registered. You can do it easily. So you kind of have to prove how Greek you are. But our family is very Greek, so my nephew will benefit from that. We have very famous relatives in the revolution that we've got the documentation for. We've got famous relatives from the government over the years. There's lots of stuff like that, and we've got the family history that he will have as well, which will help. But it's just not easy, We have a good reputation, but who knows if that matters? Who the hell knows? Nephew does not speak Greek. He's going to start. I told him start taking some Greek classes because you at least should. The thing is too, you don't have to know Greek, but depending on the consulate, some of them want you to know Greek. Depends. I think you still have. I think it helps to. It helps to show that you tried. My Greek is okay. My Greek is. I would say, I know my Greek is not fluent. My Greek is a solid intermediate Greek. It's not beginner and it's not fluent. My nephew doesn't have any. He studied it when he was younger. He doesn't remember anything. I told him he should study some because any of you looking to get citizenship, it gives you more proof that you're trying, right? Because what they want is they don't exactly. I still think I'm a B1. I don't think I'm a B2. I'd say I'm a B1. but I'm definitely not an A2. Like I'm not a beginner. I think if any citizenship you're trying to get abroad, to me at least, if you're trying to become a citizen of another country, and you that's interesting. What's that about? If you're trying to become a citizen of another country, what is that? Okay, some gifts I can reveal here. What is that? Skip to reveal gift. Okay, what is this? There's some special gift they're offering the community. What is this? Okay, this is just annoying. Okay, whatever. Okay, God, you're annoying me. Go away. Oh yeah, but if you're trying to get citizenship in another country, then I'm definitely not a B2 because I'm not fluent. If you're trying to get citizenship in another country and you haven't tried to learn the language, I think that's weird. It's fine. It's fine if you can't learn the language, but you should try. Like, at least for me, I fell in love with Italy and I taught myself Italian, right? I have tried, my Greek is okay because for years I've tried to learn Greek because Greek matters to me. I wanted to learn French, right? I took French classes. I mean, I think like if you love a country so much you want to become its citizen, you should. I was fluent. I still do not think I'm fluent today. No way. There's no way, because I would have a very hard time having many conversations. I really would. Whereas Spanish and French, I'm fluent. Italian, I'm fluent. I'm fluent in Italian, but I'm less fluent than I am in Spanish. My French and Spanish are very fluent. But less fluent in Italian, but still fluent. But Greek, I'm definitely not fluent. I mean, the guy at the embassy thought I was fluent. I was like, thank you. I said, but I'm not fluent. I'm not being humble, because I've told you, the other languages I'll admit to being fluent, but not in Greek. Spanish, I just studied it forever. I'm trying to think. I could switch it to Spanish. Cuando tenía, ¿cuántos años? 10 años en mi escuela, primaria, o primaria, no sé cómo se dice. Teníamos que escoger un idioma extranjera y yo escogí español. Entonces comencé a estudiar español para 12 años en la escuela, unos años en la universidad también. Y así, aprendí a hablar español bastante bien. Y pasé un rato, un verano en Argentina, dos meses, que me ayudó muchísimo para hablar y entender. Porque solo 2 meses, pero trabajar en español, hablar con la gente, también hice entrevistas con gente de otras embajadas y bueno, me ayudó muchísimo. See, and right now I'd say too, even with my Spanish, because we're talking Greek, that was hard for me in Spanish. My Spanish is actually better than that because I'm not thinking Spanish right now. I was kind of forcing it, but my Spanish is good. But that was not as good. Yeah, I love languages. I've always loved languages. I think they're so much fun, my Spanish is funny. If you put me on the spot, I get more of an Argentine accent because, interestingly, I studied here in America, and typically you learn more Mexican or whatever. But I was telling people in Spanish, I worked 2 months in Argentina for the US Embassy, and I was interviewing like other embassy people in other embassies in Spanish, and then writing a report in English, thank God. But it really, those 2 months really nailed my Spanish. After studying it for 12 years, those 2 months nailed my Spanish. And it really, even though it was just 2 months, it really stuck in my head. So when I'm thrown, when I'm not expecting it, and somebody like on the street with my dog, somebody says, excuse me, can you help me in Spanish? And I start talking Spanish, it gets very much Argentine because that's what I got comfortable in. But I love the Argentine. I mean, I whatever. It just is what it is, whatever accent you get, But definitely brought up having much more Mexican or Central American because that's what we learn here, for generally speaking. Anyway, like I said, I love languages. Italian's wonderful. I mean, Italian's just, we went back to Italy last year for the first time in 15, oh God, maybe even 20 years. I'd been to Italy in so long. God, I love Italy. So much fun. They're wonderful people, Italians. And French, I love French. I like languages, and French is great too. France is different. I like France. France is a little different than Italians, obviously. Castilian, yeah, no. Don't like that. That's too hard. Or the theta. We don't learn that here. Definitely don't learn that here. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up in a second, guys, because it's 7:20. Duolingo with Portuguese. Oh, that's good. Duolingo's good. You know, my only problem with Duolingo was when you get to a certain level, you kind of max out. Like for French, Duolingo is weird because it's almost not challenging enough in a way. Like it's Spanish. I don't even know if I've used it for Spanish. I tried it for French. Italian, it's okay. I still find Duolingo, unless I'm beginning a language, Duolingo is very hit or miss. So like sometimes the Italian's too easy, sometimes it's too hard. For fun, I tried, I think, Chinese or Japanese or Chinese, and it was way too hard on Duolingo. Like, I just found that insanely difficult. You learn British English, but mostly speak American and Canadian. That's interesting, yeah. Well, Europeans, a lot of Europeans learn British English, yeah. Yeah, Ukraine would be fun to visit after the war. Maybe even now. You know? Yeah, language, I mean, I think, WC, languages you've got to have a skill for, or a talent for. I've always had a talent for languages. I don't know whether, even if you don't, if you went and lived there, would you pick it up well? Maybe, right? I don't know. But I would say there are certainly people who, like, I pick up languages. There's people who pick them up more than others. Yes. Yes. And I don't know if it's related to intelligence. That's an interesting question. I don't know that it is necessarily. Like, let me put it this way. Being intelligent does not mean you're good at languages. But if you're not intelligent, could you be good at languages? That I don't know. That's an interesting question. You know what I mean? Like, is intelligence beneficial? It might be beneficial, although I mean, I don't know, though. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, intelligence helps a lot of things, so maybe it is beneficial, you know? You know. Yeah, they've got to, Russian, the problem with Russian on like Duolingo and stuff is Russian, I mean, like Greek, you've got to learn the alphabet first. Russian can get even harder because the Russians write in cursive. And we had to learn right off the bat, before teaching us the words in Russian, I studied Russian in college for a while, they taught us the alphabet first. And then they taught us how to write in cursive. Cursive Russian is horrible. I mean, it's, you know. Scandinavia, I have been to Sweden a few times for work. I like Sweden a lot. Otherwise, I've not been there. I've wanted to go back. You know, I've not been to Norway, you know, Copenhagen airport. Nice airport, but that's all I ever saw. You know, but anyway. But yeah, I mean, Duolingo's still good, you know. The thing too is, like I said, it depends on, you also have to figure out how you learn languages. Like my friend Matt, we even talked about this, and he said, like, I learned by going there. I hear and I pick stuff up. I learned by literally engaging with people. I think he's better at memorizing and reading a book and this kind of stuff, which I hate, like the grammar. He likes the grammar class. I hate the freaking grammar classes. I want to go and hear stuff and go, oh, that's interesting. And I listen and I pick it up. You still have to have the grammar to know what the hell you're listening to, right? Like what you're getting. But I find that much easier, just much easier. Yeah, I've always picked up more, you know. So like I've always spoken better than writing. I remember learning languages as a kid in my language classes and always being told, my teachers were always telling me, this is funny because you're much better spoken than writing in the foreign language. And they said most people, at least Americans, are better at writing than speaking. I would love to go to Norway. Are better at writing than speaking, typically when you learn a foreign language. And mine's always been the opposite. Way better at even though I'm a very good writer in English, I mean, meaning professional writer in English, in foreign languages, that's always scared the hell out of me, you know? Your parents met in Norway 72 years ago. That's cute. Yeah. You know. Anyway. From Monday on, you can travel to these countries so easy. True. Now, I could go to Europe anyway, but obviously I've got to get my passport first. So the passport won't be coming for another month or two probably. Maybe a couple more months for my Greek passport. And then we'll see. Yeah, well, I mean, I've still got the dog. Like I said, I'm not going anywhere when she's around. She's actually doing much better. The dog may be around for a while. Who knows? She's doing much better, so you never know. Do the Greeks want newcomers or do they resist, therefore make it very difficult to immigrate in? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this was very hard because it's a legal process. The problem is Greece's population is going down So they need to get more population. There's a lot of immigrants, but it's causing a lot of backlash because, you know, a lot of immigrants, especially in countries like European countries, not European, most countries in the world are very monoethnic, meaning, right, the same race, but not just the race. We're Greek. You know what I mean? Like it's like Italians. You're one ethnicity. You're not just white. Mono-religious, like we're Greek Orthodox. So you start to bring people in who aren't Greek Orthodox, people in who aren't Greek ethnically. It starts and it changes things. I mean, I think of Sweden. Sweden, I remember when I was in Stockholm 15 years ago or longer, not 15, 15 years ago maybe, and they were telling me like 15%, 15% of the population was Iraqi, I think. And I was like, 15%? And you could notice it. Like we'd go to restaurants like on the streets and I would hear people speak a lot of people speaking Arabic. And I was like, holy cow. So that's what can, I think, like in America, we talked about this before, Canada, maybe Australia, countries where there's always been a mix, you still could have immigration backlash, but we're used to people being from all over. Like it, to at least because I'm from Chicago, I grew up with everybody. It wasn't weird. Hearing somebody with an Arab accent, I would just think they were an Arab immigrant. It wouldn't be weird to me. I'd just be like, oh, where are you from? Right? And I in Chicago, I don't want to keep telling more stories. I do want to call it quits to protect my voice. But in college, my last story I'll tell. In college in Chicago, come back from college, and I'm with my friend Paul Enright, wonderful guy, most smartest human being I've ever met, lovely guy. Paul, and anybody knows Paul from Chicago, South Side, Beverly guy. And Paul, his grandmother, Irish grandmother is there. And I believe grandma, I don't remember if she was Irish, American. I think she was born here. Because I think his great-grandparents might have been born in Ireland. So I think his grandmother was born here. She was born here, actually. No, she was. Because his grandmother was, I remember, and she must have been like in her 80s, 85 or something. I had never met anybody in their 80s who spoke English fluently. And I was probably, I don't know, maybe I was, how old was I at that point? Maybe I was 19 or maybe I was 20 years old. I'd never met any Americans in their 80s who spoke fluent English, who didn't have an accent, ever. And I remember, and I met his grandmother, and she was like American. And I even said to her, I said, oh my God. Like, it blew my mind. Like, growing up in Chicago and then Greek American, like, I didn't meet my friends' grandparents. You know what I mean? Like, you never met them. And all of our relatives, if you were over 80, you had a Greek accent. Nobody over 80 had an American accent in my family, and my friends and relatives, nobody did. And it was just the craziest thing meeting an Irish American born here in the 1980s. I'm sorry, in the 1980s, meeting an Irish American lady who spoke fluent English without an accent blew my mind. But anyway, so Chicago was much more diverse in that regard. Too diverse in some ways, right? And Chicago has its own strong accent, exactly. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to call it quits because of the voice thing. It's 7:30. I will see some of you guys tomorrow. As we said, tomorrow we've got the coffee talk, the hangout we do for the monthly subscribers. So join us then. Oops, is my little thing on here? Yep, dust on here. And otherwise, I will see you guys Monday. I will be Greek by then. I will be European citizen Monday night. But I will see you guys Monday night, 6 o'clock Eastern. And thank you for the gifts, guys, as well. And I will see you all, Monday, if not tomorrow. All right? Thanks, everybody. Have a good night, all. Mods, Manda, Ash, everybody else, thank you. And I will see you guys later. All right? All right. That was Substack. That was Discord. All right, Substack and YouTube. See you guys. TikTok, you're next. Bye-bye.